Multiplication, my personal favorite. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to multiply, and all I want you to do is try each one out and see which technique makes the most sense to your brain. The first one I'm going to teach you is called right to left cross multiplication. Sounds pretty difficult, but it's very simple, and all you do is actually write down the answer. You eliminate all the stuff in the middle that you usually do, and I'll show you how you used to do it and how you're going to do it. Just to try it, okay? Easy example first is 14 times 12. Now, as I'm sure most people watching this have learned how to do, to multiply these two numbers together, you normally do 4 times 2 is 8, and then you do 1 times 2 is 2, and you put your little 0 down there, and then 1 times 4 is 4, and then 1 times 1 is 1, and then you got to add them all up, you get 8, 6, 1, and you get the answer. Using this technique, it takes you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps, and that's without even a carry involved. 8 steps. I'm going to show you how to do it in 3. Very easy. All I want you to do is write down the same problem, 14 times 12. 3 steps. Here's the 3 steps. You do the right side, you do a cross, multiply, and add, and then you do the left side. We'll go through it slow. Make sure you understand it. First step is the right side. Just multiply the two numbers on the right. What's 4 times 2? 8. There's your first digit in the answer. All right? The second step is we're going to cross multiply. When I say cross multiply, I mean multiply these two numbers, and then add them together. So what's 2 times 1? 2. And what's 1 times 4? 4. So add them together. What's 2 plus 4? You'll get 6. That's your second digit in the answer. Now to get the left digit, just multiply the two numbers on the left. What's 1 times 1? 1. Same answer, 3 steps. All of this is gone. You've already done it in your head along the way. It makes it much easier, much clearer. And a lot of people that I meet have trouble with multiplication usually don't write that neatly and end up adding up the columns incorrectly. That's where a lot of people make mistakes. So this clears that right up. Let's try a couple more examples because it's very simple to do. And no matter how big the numbers get, all you do is write down the answer because as big as it can get is 9 times 9. So as long as you have your multiplication tables memorized, you're in good shape. Let's try 24 times 12. Another pretty easy problem, but I just want to show you how the technique works. Let's try the right side first. Remember, 3 steps. First step is the right side. What's 4 times 2? 8. There's the first digit in the answer. To get the second digit in the answer, all you have to do is cross multiply and add them together. What's 2 times 2? 4. What's 4 times 1? 4 more. So add them together. What's 4 plus 4? 8. There's your second digit in the answer. Now to get the last digit, the left digit, just multiply the two numbers on the left. What's 2 times 1? 2. So your answer to 24 times 12 is 288. All right? Now, if you have to carry, in which case you will, using right to left cross multiplication, all you have to remember is that you carry it to the next step. All right? Let's try this. 24 times 13. 3 steps. First step is the right side. What's the right side? 4 times 3. What do you get? 12. Here's what you do. You write down the 2 from the 12, and you carry 1. Where do you carry it? To the next step. So all I do is put a little 1 up in the top left corner. All right? Because the second step is the cross multiply and then add, right? So just hang on to that for a second. Let's do the cross multiply. What's 2 times 3? 6. What's 4 times 1? 4. So let's add them together. What's 6 plus 4? 10. That's our second step. But remember, we carried. So let's add that 1. What's 10 plus 1? We just get 11. So I'm going to write down 1. And once again, I have to carry another 1. So I put it over here. And now I've got to do the third step, which is the left side. What's 2 times 1? 2. And then we've got to add the 1 we carried. So what's 2 plus 1 is 3. So the answer is 312. It's that simple. As hard as it gets is you have to remember to carry it to the next step if you have to carry it all. Let's try another one. How about 36 times 24? All right, 3 steps. First step, right side. What's 6 times 4? 24. Write down the 4, carry the 2. We're going to carry 2 to the next step. The next step is the cross, multiply, and add. Let's cross multiply. What's 6 times 2? 12. What's 4 times 3? 12. So now add them together. What's 12 plus 12? You should get 24. And now we add that 2 that we carried. So what's 24 plus 2? 26. Write down the 6, and we carry 2. Let's carry the 2 over here. Now what's the last step? The left side. What's 3 times 2? 6. Add the 2 that we carried, and you get 8. And that's the answer. The answer to 36 times 24 is 864. It's that simple. Let's just try one more. How about 45 times 23? 3 steps. First step, right side. What's 5 times 3? 15. I'm going to write down the 5, and what do I carry? The 1. I'm going to carry the 1 to the next step, which is the cross, multiply, and add. Let's cross multiply. What's 5 times 2? 10. What's 4 times 3? 12. So add them together. What's 10 plus 12? Now you're good at adding, so you should have got 22. Add the 1 we carried, and that'll give you 23. I'm going to write down the 3, and what am I going to carry to the next step? 2. And now all I do is the left side. What's 4 times 2? 8. Add the 2, and you get 10. 1,035. So the answer to 45 times 23 is 1,035. Look how neat that comes out. You're still carrying, but basically you're learning how to work with ones, tens, and then hundreds by multiplying those groups together one step at a time. Now go to your workbook and take the time to go through all the exercises and really make sure you understand this technique, because it's my favorite, it's the easiest one, and it works no matter what the numbers are. All right, so give it a try and we'll be right back. I'm sure that section was easy for you, because right to left just makes so much sense and you get the answer right every time. All you got to do is know your multiplication tables and the 3 basic steps to getting the right answer. So I hope you really enjoyed right to left cross multiplication. But now I want you to try left to right cross multiplication. Same concept, just a little bit backwards. All right, let me give it a try. Let's start out with the same example I used in the previous section. 14 times 12. Now, this technique is usually for people who are pretty good with numbers and like to work with numbers. But give it a shot and see how you do. Instead of starting on the right here, still a 3-step process, but we're going to go backwards. We're going to start on the left. All right? So now, here's the tricky part about left to right, is you've got to know what every single number stands for. That is a 10, that's a 10, that's a 2, and that's a 4. All right? Knowing that, 3 steps, but we're going to do the left side first, and we're going to keep a running total. So now we do the left side. What's 10 times 10? 100. You write down the 100. This is just to keep a running total for you. You really don't need to do this, but just to show you how it works. Next step is the cross multiply and add. What's 10 times 2? 20, right? Add that to your base number. So what's 100 plus 20? 120. Now the next step is the other cross. What's 10 times 4? 40. Add that to your 120, and what do you get? 160. And now the right side. Just multiply the numbers on the right. What's 4 times 2? 8. Add it to your 160, and there's 168 again. Same technique, except this time you got to keep a little bit of a running total in your head if you want to. You can do it on paper, but it's really easy to learn how to do and keep it in your head. Let's try another one. Same example we used earlier, 24 times 12. First thing we do is we identify the numbers. That's 20, that's 10, that's 2, and that's 4. Got to know what each one stands for. Now, the first step is the left side. What's 20 times 10? 20 times 10. And I'm sure everybody knows the shortcut to multiplying times 10. You just add a 0 to the other number. So if we got 20 times 10, just add another 0 to 20, and you should get 200. So we already have 200. Now we have to do the second step, which is the cross multiply. What's 20 times 2? 20 times 2 is 40. So we add that to our 200, and we get 240. Now we cross multiply the other way. What's 10 times 4? 40. What's 240 plus 40 more? you should get 280. And now the last step is the right side. What's 4 times 2? 8. So the answer is 288. This is a really simple technique, but again, it's for people who feel more comfortable with numbers. So hopefully you've given this a try. And what I'd like you to do now is go back into the workbook and go through the examples I put in there, because if you practice this for a little bit, just 5 or 6 examples, you'll really see how easy this is. And it's really not that hard. You just got to practice keeping that running total, that base number. That's the hardest part, but I'm sure you can do it. Now let's try complementary multiplication. This is more of a little gimmicky multiplication. It sort of gives you an advantage if the numbers are around 100 or 50 or 200 or 1,000. But I just want to show you how it works because it's really fun and it makes a lot of sense to people and it can be used for a great shortcut. All right, so let's try the first one. Numbers around 100 are real easy. Let's say you came up with a problem of 96 times 94. Now, we could use the way you learned how to multiply in school, or we could use right to left cross multiplication to get the answer, or we could use left to right cross multiplication to get the answer. But even easier, and that's what I always do, is whatever numbers you give me to multiply, I always try to pick the strategy that's easiest and most efficient for that problem. So in this case, I would use complementary multiplication. Here's how it works. These are both relatively close to 100. So what I'm going to do is look at how far 96 away is from 100. How far away from 100 is 96? 4. So let's put a 4 over here to the right. Now, how far away is 94 from 100? 6. So let's put a little 6 over here. That's all you have to do. Now, here's how you figure out what 96 times 94 is. Remember, that's the goal. All you do is you subtract diagonally. That's the first step. What's 96 minus 6? The answer is 90. And that's the first 2 digits in the answer to 96 times 94. Now, to get the second part of the answer, all you have to do is multiply these 2 numbers on the right. What's 4 times 6? 24. Put that right there, and that's the answer. So the answer to 96 times 94 is 9,024. It's that simple. And look, what's really neat about this is that you could subtract 96 minus 6, or you could subtract the other way. What's 94 minus 4? 90. Either way, you're going to get the same answer. And then all you do is multiply the 2 numbers on the right, and that's it. Let's try another one. How about 97 times 95? First thing we do is we say, okay, how far away are those numbers from 100? Well, 97 is 3 away from 100, and 95 is 5 away from 100. So now all we have to do is subtract diagonally either way. What's 95 minus 3, or what's 97 minus 5? Whichever one's easier for you, you should use. In this case, I think 95 minus 3 is easier. So 95 minus 3 gives me 92. There's the first 2 digits in the answer. To get this, what do? Multiply the 2 numbers on the right. What's 3 times 5? 15. So the answer to 97 times 95 is 9,215. That's it. It's that easy. Let's try another one. But now, remember, when we were under 100, we subtracted diagonally. So what do you think would happen if we had 2 numbers that were close to 100, but they were both over 100? Let's do 107 times 105. Same concept, except this time the numbers are over 100 instead of under 100. So when we were under 100, we subtracted diagonally. In this case, we're going to add, because it's over 100. So how far over 100 is 107? 7. And then how far over 100 is 105? 5. So now we've got the problem set up, and let's go through it. First thing we do is we add diagonally either way. What's 107 plus 5, or 105 plus 7? Either way, you should get 112. And that's the first 3 digits in the answer. Now, to get the last part of the answer, just multiply the numbers on the right. What's 7 times 5? 35. So the answer is 11,235. Now, in the workbook, you're going to see where there's different examples that we do around 50, around 200, around 1,000. I want you to try them all. If you have any trouble with this technique, go back to another technique and get the right answer, and then sort of make it like a puzzle. Let me give you an example. If I said to you 196 times 194, all right, now what do you think we should go from? Obviously, these are both close to 200, so we're going to go from 200. How far away is that from 200? 196 is 4 away. 194 is 6 away. So they're both below 200, so we have to subtract first. What's 196 minus 6, or 194 minus 4? Either way you do it, it's going to come up to be 190. Now, you can write that down, but you shouldn't, because you've got to realize when we're working from 100, you don't touch it. But when you're working from a different 100, you multiply it times that amount of hundreds. So we're working from 200s here. So after you do the subtraction either way, or addition, then you have to multiply it times 2, because we're working with 200. So we came up with 190, so we got to double that, times 2. What's 190 times 2? The answer is 380. And that's the first part of the answer to this equation. Now, to get the last part, simply multiply the numbers on the right. What's 6 times 4? 24. And if you check your math, you'll see that 196 times 194 is 38,024. During the exercises, if you have trouble getting to this answer, use a different technique, get the answer, and then go backwards and see how could you get to that answer. Make it a puzzle. That's all I did when I was a kid to learn how to do all these things. And that's all I'm asking you to do is if it's a little bit tough for you, make it a game. I'm sure you'll get through it. Go to the exercises, get through it, make sure you understand this. It's a lot of fun. And next we're going to try something even more fun.